And we are back, but now we are going to dive into security, advanced scenarios, and the best practices on Andasy. I still have my guest, Shema, who is going to help us dive right into it. Now, Shema, you mentioned something about each organization in Andasy having its own private network, right? How does this ensure a strong separation between different users and their own apps?
Every application, every organization that is on Andasy is provisioned a WireGuard private network for them to connect to each other. So that means no one else outside your organization can see even the traffic of your application. If you have a lot of applications that are running in the internal network only,
Okay.
you have only one, maybe the front end is only able to connect to your database, your caching. It means that no one else can actually get access to that. So whenever you specify maybe my application is running on this port, that's when we add it to the network that is going to be routed to them.
Okay.
So my application is running on port 80. That's only thing that we're going to route to. That means that you only have one port open to your VM. It is very secure because obviously maybe the port 80 can be used as a DDoS attack only, but other than that, you can't have an open SSH port. So it is very secure. And then intra-network, if you have application deployed in different regions, it means that all of them are into the same WireGuard mesh as the organization. But even at that level, you can't access other people's organization applications. So in order to access them, you need to be a member of that team. As an app, it needs to also live into that organization to be able to connect to the internal network. So internal network also have, we can resolve the DNS. You don't have to use internal IP addresses. So if you are into the same application, you can call the app name.internal. It will resolve to the private network address of that application.
Thank you. Now you kept on mentioning about VMs too. People who didn't quite get that, please go and watch the previous episode to understand. Andasy runs app in Firecracker MicroVMs, right?
Yes.
And these are like advanced technology. So how does this technology help with security and isolation?
So Firecracker is a technology that was developed by Amazon. It's an open source project that is a hypervisor of some sort. So its advantage is dropping a lot of devices that are not used. So if you're running an application for web, you don't need to attach a keyboard to that. So if you are starting a VM, you don't have to manage all of those devices that are not really needed in the cloud. So Amazon uses to work on Lambda. It's a function platform. But we wanted to use it for us because when we started working on this and we used Docker, we saw that the time it takes container to go up is very high. And we wanted the application to go up very fast so that there is no downtime. So usually the Firecracker service can spin up an application in 100 milliseconds to make sure that it is very fast up, and then every provision that your app does is on its own at that point. So Firecracker also comes with Jailer. It's another application that isolates your VM into its own C group. It also monitors system calls to make sure that your application can call specific system calls, but something that is not needed, we can drop them. This diminishes the attack space to make sure that the VM cannot escape to the host and take charges of all of other VMs. The Firecracker process also have some different technologies from Docker, because with Docker all the containers are running into the same kernel, which means that if a container escapes, it has access to the whole kernel access, and then it can escape to other VMs. But for Firecracker, it gives every VM a different kernel, and because it dropped a lot of devices that are not needed, it is easier to clone the kernel and not have a high overhead of that kernel. So that means even if the one VM is compromised, it will not escape to the host. It will be only killed, and then the attacker can only have that access to that VM. It means we reduce the blast radius because they cannot escape to other. Maybe even if it's the same organization, they can't escape to that other VMs. So the security of Firecracker plus that jailer that can isolate the VM, we found that it's much better than what Docker currently provides, and that's why we chose that one, Firecracker and jailer at the same time.
Okay, so basically a jailer is like a mechanism used to protect the host from other apps, or protect the host from any malicious thing that can
So what happens is you can say the host is this big pool of other applications, and whenever we provision a VM, we make a fence around it so that it cannot escape and wander out. And then Firecracker also adds those isolation and dropping of privileges of or system or devices that are not needed, so that you can not call every device that can be an attack surface.
So inside Firecracker, there Docker images run inside Firecracker, right?
Not like that. So we have a hypervisor that manages that. So what that does is pull the image and then extract to a file system, because Firecracker does not run Docker images. So we transform that file system to those images to file systems, and then hand it to Firecracker to run that, because Firecracker only runs the file system.
So it's mainly like a hybrid Docker and Firecracker system.
Exactly.
How does it benefit developers though? How does this model benefit developers? So
if we didn't for Firecracker, we can't use Docker. So maybe we could say on the images side, images are easier, first of all, to work with, to make a file system out of it, and also they are compatible with a lot of technology. So you don't have to use Docker. Actually, on the hypervisor we don't use Docker. We use Containerd, but there are a lot of other technology that we can use. We can use RunC, anything that understand the OCI specification that Docker uses can can be used that way. So that's why I said it is very compatible with a lot of technologies. So a Docker image can be run anywhere with different tools. So we are not relying on only one tool that can be maybe discontinued. Also, if the spec is standardized for the OCI, we can also be possible to build our own run C or container D. So that's why we used that. And on the developer side, I would say it is easier to package your application and build them instead of making maybe a model like GitHub, which has version control. But that also can be another improvement to the application, to the platform, adding Git support and everything. Although we have a GitHub action that can deploy application, but we don't have the version control system that is similar to Heroku, which used to be easier to deploy with Git.
Okay. Now, to an organization watching this, or a team, they might be somewhere small right now, but in 6 months they grow. How does Andasy ensure, one, performance, isolation, and security so that it remains constant even if the workload becomes, it grows in the meantime?
So we are expanding our fleet here in Rwanda and making sure that provisioning new capacity is easier. So and our hypervisor has that built in already to notify us if new capacity is needed. So whenever maybe a big company needs a high usage, usually they can notify you before, but also we have that observability to check how is our usage today. Do we need to provision other capacity in this specific region, and then try to add more resources. But if you needed a big resource usage, it's easier to communicate with us, and then we can provision that. But for the expected usage that we continue to see the trend going, we can estimate which usage are we using this next 6 months, and then provision new resource based on that.
I want us to circle back to something you said, Andasy being here in Rwanda, Pan-Africanism. How do you feel as a person who is working for an organization, if I could say, that is, making sure the future of Africa's technology is there, making sure that we can go to the market and compete with Europe, with Asia, and every other continent?
I think it's a very needed initiative.
Definitely.
Because I don't know if you remember, there's an outage that happened last year, several months ago, when cable connections that had been broken between South Africa and Kenya.
I heard about that, yeah.
And you could see the whole workday, everything was broken. So if it happened to a service that is used regularly here in Rwanda, like a Rainbow or any other service that is popular, it will be bad. That's why Rwanda is encouraging to host your applications here.
Okay.
That means that even if you're a startup, even if the outage happens outside of Rwanda, you already have a strong connection here in Rwanda. And since those cable connections only connects us to different continents, it means even in Africa you still have that strong connection.
Okay.
So that's why it's very important to have that, to have a platform that is easier to deploy, and also focusing on the African continent, especially here in Rwanda.
Definitely. Now, for a person who, you mentioned that you've started with Quarks Group, right, to grow Andasy. talking about the roadmap, there is a point where it was point A, maybe now it's on point N, and there is a way where it's going to reach, right? What's that roadmap for Andasy in your eyes, both in terms of developer experience, new features around security, data, and everything else in the future? Where do you see Andasy?
So there is a lot of feedback we get from the users, and we hope to try to have a roadmap for that, and making sure that one of them is hard and then fixed, and also the user experience, diminishing the amount of work you have to deploy. As I said, those when you click a button, it is deployed in GitHub and everything. So yeah, the developer experience, that's what we want to extend. And also the provisioning, ease of provisioning new resource. So scaling, running into multiple regions to make sure that your application is redundant. Making sure that your apps are running reliable, because it's an ever growing challenge as you have many workloads. So making sure that your applications is deployed reliably and your data is secure is what we aim to do in the future. More of it, and growing the team to be able to handle the immense workload that we get every day.
I love that last statement you said, growing the team, meaning to every developer watching this, all you have to do is go on Andasy.io, create your account. You never know, you might be wanting to deploy your app, but in the future you might be on their team. Now, thank you, Shema. Thank you for this incredible talk.
Yes.
Talking about Andasy. Give us a little statement to a person watching this, something that they can stay with.
I'd say this is a growing initiative, and we hope that everyone can contribute to it. Doesn't have to be contributing code. You can be contributing the awareness of it and making sure that we have security of our running workloads here in Rwanda and Africa in general.
Yes, because that's what you're doing. You're growing Africa. Now, thank you to everyone who watched Cloud by Command. See you next time. Keep coding, keep deploying, and make sure you click Andasy.io and make sure you create an account. I was your host, Edwige. See you next time.